In reading wiring diagrams, it is important to note that a further development of the actual relay is the transistor, which is simply the same version, only it is controlled electronically without any moving parts. Transistors are divided into emitter, base, and collector. Those three leads are actually interconnected within the circuit, usually inside a computer or module, and it is actually how the different loads are actually tested. By applying a small pulse at the base, you actually complete the circuit between emitter and collector, and this is how transistors actually trigger the load. There are two basic type of transistors, the NPN and the PNP, and this simply has to do with the material of which it is made internally. This has no effect whatsoever on your diagnostics, but it is always important to know because this is how they are connected to the circuit. Transistors again are solid state devices which have no moving parts, and they actually trigger a load on and off, much like a relay does. The difference between a transistor is that they can be pulsed as opposed to a relay which will not take a pulse. Relays are devices that if they are pulsed, the actually pulse rate or the frequency has to be very low because they will simply not function that way. Transistors can actually be pulsed, and this is the reason why they are widely used throughout automotive systems. They can simply be pulsated, as we see in this schematic, and a small pulse at the base actually triggers a high current change at the output, therefore controlling the load. So again, pulse control transistors are the basis for duty cycle control devices. And here we see how the actual transistor becomes an actual circuit, on and off circuit, which can be pulsed. Remember, you cannot duty cycle control a component using a relay unless you actually use the relay to provide the voltage source. You have to use a transistor to actually pulsate a device. Most transistors made out of silicone will drop 0.6 volts between base and emitter leads. If it's a zirconia based transistor, it will drop 300 millivolts. This is important whenever trying to test transistors within a circuit, but again, most of these transistors are found inside ECM. It is simply important to understand how these components work. The biggest transistor that you will ever see within a vehicle is actually the ignition module or the igniter. Igniters cannot be tested as you would in a regular transistor because most of the time they are connected into a Darlington pair, which are actually two or more transistors interconnected amongst themselves to create the high current needed to drive those circuits.